Okay. So, what's been going on? What's happened? Why haven't I streamed for like the last 4, 5 stream days? It's been a little while, and it's really starting to piss me off quite severely. Uh, as I go back into Overwatch and hopefully everything doesn't break. It's really been annoying me because, well, yeah, like I want to stream, I want to work, I want to be able to do things. And every single day I can't do that, it feels like a failure. So, okay, a couple of days ago I was ill, and so my throat was down. I was like sniffly, coughy, tired. Okay, whatever. That happens sometimes. So I thought, sod it, I'll take a night off, relax, get better, spare my throat a little bit because it was already like dying on a coaching the many. So I needed to just rest a little bit. The next day I get up, get out of bed, walk towards my PC, press the power button, and it comes up with a screen that I tweeted, which was that it just comes up with a like DOS thing that just says insert a boot drive or a boot disk, like failed to boot, insert drive. And naturally I go, well, shit. But this has happened to me once before, like a little while ago, and all I did was I sort of took the side off the PC and like jiggled the RAM and jiggled the hard drives a bit, and it worked. And so I did that, and I jiggled it, power on, nothing. Power on, nothing. Power on, nothing. Check the BIOS, okay, the drives are there, still nothing. Check everything I can, nothing, 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 nothing. Try all these different fixes to make it work, nothing, 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 nothing. Spend 2 hours looking for my Windows boot drive, and then finally find the little USB with Windows on, plug that in, try and reinstall Windows is like the only way that I can get my PC to boot. And lo and behold, the drive that had Windows on it is failing. It literally even came up with like a message of, we cannot install Windows on this drive is about to fail. And so I was just like, well, shit, basically. Because what that meant was my PC was dead. It just doesn't work. And so I instantly got on my laptop, ordered a new SSD to install Windows on that. Came the next day, plug it in, install Windows, okay, fine. Got that working. Then had to go through the rigmarole of, well, this is now a fresh Windows install. This is now a completely like... The drive where the Windows was stored was also the drive where like a lot of cookies were stored, where Chrome was installed, all that kind of stuff. If you know about computers, you'll know that there's a thing called the registry that a lot of things hook into, basically, to like to work and to function. So yeah, there's that. And so I like nothing worked. Nothing at all worked. And so I had to, the first issue I face is that my PC doesn't have a CD drive and it couldn't connect to the internet because the network driver doesn't work. Like the actual network driver, the thing that makes the internet work on the PC wasn't there. So I had to download that on a laptop, get it onto a USB and put it into the PC, install the driver. Once that driver's in, okay, I can start downloading all the drivers that I need, and just spent ages solving that problem. Couldn't get my graphics card working for about 2 hours, 3 hours, because the Windows Updater didn't actually update Windows. It just did something, and so I couldn't install a driver on my graphics driver because Windows literally did not download itself properly and update itself properly, and the driver only works on the later versions of Windows. So yeah, that was fun for a while, just panicking if my graphics card was ever going to work again. Eventually got that working. Eventually got that going. Tickety-boo. Beautiful, lovely. Managed to get that fixed. And then I tried to log into Twitch. And this is now the sad state where things are. And this is why I'm on YouTube at the moment, because I can't log into my Twitch account. Because Twitch has this thing called two-factor authentication. And with two-factor authentication, what happens is you try and log in and it says, oh, we need to send you a code to your phone that you then type in. And normally that's fine. Except this phone has a SIM card that has been deactivated. It's been deactivated because I haven't made a call with it in about 9 months. And as a result, apparently the network cancels it. I've sent texts with it, I've received texts with it, I've received calls with it, but I haven't called people outwards. And so they disabled the phone. So what that means is the phone number attached to my Twitch account is disabled. What that means is when I try and log into Twitch, it tries to send an SMS to a phone number that doesn't exist. What that means is I can't log in to Twitch. And I've tried to contact Authy. I contacted Twitch, and Twitch were like, go talk to Authy, who are the company that managed this. Authy got back to me it still took a day with like a service of, oh, well, like put the old phone number in this and put your new phone number in this that you want us to SMS to or send messages to. But that doesn't work because the phone number doesn't exist. Right? It's literally a dead phone number. Like, it just doesn't work. So now I'm waiting on Authy to get back to me again, but apparently, like, from the email they sent me, their office hours are, like, Wednesday to Saturday for some reason, which is fun, which is really exciting. So hopefully they get back to me. I'm just going to keep sending them emails because it's kind of important that I'm able to stream because people have subbed to me, and like that subscription in my mind is like, hey, I want you to stream. I'm paying for you to stream for my entertainment. I really want that to happen, so I'm letting those people down. I'm also like just not working, so I'm going to be losing money, and any streamer, any YouTuber will tell you that not producing anything is basically death, and so I'm kind of stuck. Yeah, it's been bad. It's been bad. The mic is not set up properly. I need to, I think, adjust the audio gain on it. I can actually do that now. Like, a lot of this stream is not going to really be much gameplay. But, like, we might try and do an impromptu coaching the many. But it's mostly going to be me just trying to get things working. Because that's literally been my life for, like, the last couple of days. A lot of WoW just to sort of take my mind off it. But it's legitimately been really rough the last couple of days. Like, really, really rough. Just because it's endless frustration. Basically, it's just non-stop. Like, everything isn't working as it should. There we go. Advanced sound options. Let's see. I'll just turn this down here a little bit. That should stop it peaking. Yeah, I know, Gohan. It's because I've tried to get the stream working. Apparently only one of them worked. If I sub on Twitch, will you see it? No. Actually, No, I won't, because I'm not logged in to Twitch. Like, I can't log into Twitch. So, yeah, it's been a really rough week. And I imagine it will continue being a really rough week, because it's basically like I have a working PC now, but everything is just not working, and like I can't log into Twitch for the stupidest fucking reason on the planet. I literally can't produce stuff on Twitch, and that's really frustrating because, like, yeah, I need to do that. I want to do that, and I can't. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at, and it's just been like non-stop issue after issue after issue, like being sick and then having the Windows drive fail and then reinstalling Windows and then trying to get the graphics card working and then not being able to log into Twitch. It's just like issue. It's been an ordeal, to say the least. And it's been frustrating, and I kind of wanted to just let everyone know that, like, I'm working on it. I literally have what I'm hoping is the phone number that is linked to Twitch hasn't been taken. I've got another SIM card on its way, and I'm hoping that I can basically set that SIM card up to have the phone number that was linked to the Twitch account, so I can just kind of slip in like that, right? And if I can get that phone number, then it'll send a SMS to that number, and then I can get it. What I might also try and do tomorrow is I'll try and call the number that I used to use. Yeah, and if someone picks up, I'll ask, have you been receiving messages that are like, hey, this is like your authorization code for something called Twitch. Can you tell me that number? Because like that literally might be the solution here. And it's a stupid place to be. It's a really stupid place to be. But yeah, like on top of just feeling like shit in general lately, this has been just beautiful. I don't know whether I feel like shit because of all the problems or because I just feel like shit because that sometimes happens to me. But it's been an ordeal, guys. It's been an absolute ordeal. So I appreciate people coming over to the YouTube stream and saying hello. It's good to see you. I appreciate that you might also be people who don't watch me on Twitch and just like watch the YouTube things, and I apologize for being really bad at like transferring things from Twitch to YouTube. But man, it's been tough. It's been real tough. It's been a tough week. It's just like constantly dealing with like programs that kind of work but kind of don't work as well, and like, oh, this kind of works and kind of doesn't work. I expect my Windows is going to fuck up at some point, just because like of how it was installed, and I'm probably going to have to dig up all my old Microsoft details to get it working again. And I heard Mixer is the new Twitch. Yeah, just fuck it, go to Mixer, right? The thing is, I can't do that because I lose all the subs I have. Like, I need those subs. And so it's just kind of tough. It's I'd be lying if I said I was on the verge of like breaking down and crying at some point, because it's just been a shit show after a shit show after a shit show. It's been non-stop. I haven't played Overwatch in a while. Oh god. Wow. After 10 min queue, the game load in and somebody leave. What the fuck, dude? Spam F for this shit. Wow, he's angry. So yeah. Wow. Oh, it automatically places. You can't say Windows. Oh, this is shit. I need to click show for that to pop up. When I can log into Twitch, I'll be back on Twitch as fast as possible. But until that happens, yeah. Until that happens, I can't do anything. Right. That's kind of what's been happening. PogChamp, wait, no. I'm guessing that's Miska. I sense that's Miska behind that somehow. Yeah, it seems fine on YouTube. Like, YouTube, honestly, YouTube streaming service is better than you would think. It's honestly in some ways better than Twitch is. It encodes better, and the VODs are better. It's just it has shit monetization, and like no one wants to stream on YouTube. It's kind of funny. I also can't see my viewer count, but that's perhaps a blessing because it's probably like 4 people. No idea what will make you say that. I know it's almost like I know you and Ryan very well, and know your personalities. I'm almost level 60, by the way, Miska. Almost level 60. Oh, God. All right. You know what? Let's try and get coaching the many working. So what I'll need to do, because all my overlays, all my setups don't work. As you'll notice, I'm probably a bit bigger than I normally am. I'll probably fix that in a second. It's actually pretty easy to fix, because I just go here and just go, whoa, 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 whoa. Look how big I am. I've noticed my webcam seems to work better without its drivers installed, by the way, which is worrying for Logitech. There we go. What the fuck, Hal? What's wrong with you? I've had nothing to do for the last couple of days. Can we give money in the stream? No. Actually, if you do sub to me on Twitch, it will still go to me because the account details are all working, but you won't get any overlays. And honestly, don't give money to this shit. What are you doing? What are you thinking? What's wrong with you? Right. I'm probably like the only streamer on the planet that would say something like that. Now live on your channel, one amongst many live stream. Oh, thank you for telling me. New device signed in to one amongst many. Oh. Right, let me try. I need to log into Ohm Reviews. That's the first hurdle. So let's try doing that. Gmail. Okay, add account. ohmreviews@gmail.com. Next. Enter your password. Next. Boom. Nice, we're in. We're into Ohm Reviews. That's a good sign. Save password, yes. Ooh. Ooh, okay. We've got a YouTube VOD. Let's see how this works. This isn't one I've done before, hopefully. Let me make sure that all the porn is hidden. And that my own email is hidden. There we go. Get that to full screen. Okay, and now what I need to do is go to here. Do I have Epic Pen still installed? No, that's the Epic Games launcher. I think I do have Epic Pen still installed, but it's not hooked up to Windows, so it's probably on D. On my D drive. Epic Pen. There you are. Epic Pen UI. Epic Pen. Hey! Epic Pen works. Okay, let's get this sorted. Turn off Overwatch, I will in a moment. It's just hiding my desktop, which is nice. Monitor capture. Where are you? In settings. Window capture, audio, display capture. That's what we want. Add source. Display capture. Display 1. Capture cursor. Yes. There you go. You can now see what's on my monitor. Do that. Okay. Close Overwatch. Oh. Goes dark every time I load into Overwatch, which isn't a good sign, but hey. There we go. Epic Pen. Let's see if Epic Pen works. Oh. There we go. Epic Pen. It sort of works. It sort of works. We can kind of do a coaching the many. I can't have chat on screen at the moment because I don't have a bot for it. So chat, you aren't going to be on screen. But otherwise, yeah. I don't know if I can cut this VOD up. I don't know if I can do that. So I probably won't anyway. If you want to know what's happening, go to the start of this VOD. The cool thing about YouTube streams, actually the really, really cool things about YouTube streams, is that you can live go back, I think, to the start of the stream, and you can watch my explanation of what's been happening and all that kind of stuff. So if people come in, as they will, and go, what's been happening? Why aren't you on Twitch? What's going on? You can go and find out. And do it yourselves, rather than me having to re-explain myself every 2 seconds. Otherwise, yeah, let's do this live. Like, I want to do something. I want to produce something rather than just sitting around playing WoW all day, because as much fun as that is, it's also miserable to know that everything you've been producing and working on has been sliding down into the toilet. So yeah, it's good. Hello, why you're not on Twitch? Boom! See? Like clockwork. I imagine you're doing that for a joke, you cheeky son of a gun. Why doesn't YouTube monetize? They do, but it's a different system. And honestly, like, I'd rather just push everyone back to Twitch, assuming I can get back into my Twitch account one day. Like, they can't lock me out of my own Twitch account forever. That's just madness. It's just insanity. It's just... It is the sort of thing that I know can happen, though, in terms of, like, and like, this is the source of my anxiety, guys. It's like, you've got two corporations that need to talk to each other. Right, you've got Twitch and you've got Authy who run the login. And if they don't talk to each other, there's a problem. Now, I have a superpower, because I have a mate who's called Stylosa, who knows people at Twitch, who's already, like, trying to reach out to people on my behalf. But he knows some bigger people as well, and he's sort of holding off on reaching out to those. But, at one point I might have to go, Sty, talk to, like, the biggest fucking person you know at Twitch to just give me my account back. Because, holy shit. Holy shit. Yeah, it's been an ordeal. Right. Yeah, don't bother saying hi to YouTube. You're already saying hi to YouTube. Actually, all the comments I think are tracked, all the chats tracked. It's actually pretty good. Like, I need to figure out a way to where I can stream to both Twitch and YouTube at the same time, because honestly, that might not be a bad idea. Right, yeah, let's begin. Hello, welcome to Overwatch. Welcome to another episode of Coaching the Many. Today, we're going to look at a VOD from actually Stream Regular. Used to be called Eldritch Enchantress. I think now it's called Void Thing. She sent in a VOD. And it's Baptiste and Anna on Paris, as you can see from this helpful YouTube title. She's also hidden the SR, so what I want you guys to do is basically think about like what SR they're playing at. At the end, we'll try and guess. Sometimes we've been really close, sometimes we've been way off. It's pretty cool. Otherwise, yeah, let's go. Also, be careful about swearing, because I have to click approve every time you swear in the chat. So that's fun. That's really fun. But yeah. Oh, hello. Also, they're saying hello. That's nice. Something that people have found out on replays is they can send me messages mid-replay by typing into the general chat. It's actually pretty cute. Okay, first things first. First thing we always do when we're starting a round in Overwatch is we take a look at our team comp. We think about how our team comp's going to play, how the various heroes are going to interact, how we win fights, how we potentially lose fights. I'm not going to look at the enemy team just yet, but we're going to start out by just taking a quick look at what we have on our friendly side. So, Mercy Moira. as a support combo. So we know that, okay, like this is kind of, well, oh wait, I'm looking at the wrong team because we're playing Baptiste. See, I'm tired. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. So Moira Baptiste, pretty strong heal combo. Actually, like I really approve of it. In the current meta, basically threats like Dragonblade are kind of gone, so you don't quite get like the big teamfight winning combos that you used to, where you need Transcendence, you need Sound Barrier, and I always kind of preach to have one of those. These days, it's less necessary. If they do come out with like Genji Ana especially, or like a Zarya, hint for the future, then hey, you might want to consider swapping. Like that's when you start thinking, maybe we do need to Zen to like beat out the Graviton Surge. But because ults come slower and stuff like that, like the ult-based gameplay is kind of faded away, Baptiste can kind of manage. Especially if they're playing like Symmetra Reaper and stuff like that, you can generally get away with having the Baptiste. So yeah. This is also, hey, it's Paris, it's a good Baptiste map, although the heroes that traditionally make this a good Baptiste map aren't being played. You generally want that Bastion or something, but we do have at least the Orisa Hog. Otherwise, our team comp, like, somewhat all round. The Genji is clearly playing like an account that's just playing flankers, because he's called flankers, and yeah, it's like, hey, it's not too bad. Orisa Hog is pretty solid on Paris. Let's see how it goes. Like, we don't have any big win combos, but it's Paris, you kind of don't need them. The only thing that makes me scared is this Genji. Like, he doesn't really gel with anything, and Genji struggles a lot in the current meta. I'd say, like, Tracer even works better. Good shot of Orisa's bum. This actually really actively annoys me about Orisa's. It's kind of fine right now, but this is something that I want to talk about, which is, if you are playing Orisa, right? And this is like good advice for Orisa. So, hey, we've got Orisa here. Rain has entered World of Warcraft. Superb. Orisa, when you're setting up a hold like this is fine, like standing at the front of the barrier. But generally, as Orisa, especially when I play her, I like to just take a couple of steps back, like behind the barrier, and let people like McCree, maybe even Baptiste, Roadhog, stand in front of me. Because if you think about Orisa, like, she takes up a lot of visual space, and when you're standing on the front of the barrier, you actually block line of sight of all your allies. And it's very annoying as playing like McCree or Ashe trying to shoot people, and all you can see is Orisa's bum. So always be aware of like your physical blocking when you're playing Orisa. It's just one of those minor things. I love the quick reaction to the teleporter though. That's superb. Nice, very nice. So the team kind of panicked a bit, and this is something that I think everyone needs to adjust to almost, which is like having a plan of action if they do try and do this stuff with Symmetra, because it's people play Symmetra now, so you've got to like know what to do with this. The Pharah actually did a really good job on their team, knocking off the Roadhog, because the thing that your team needs to do is just like to move to here. Let's change this color. To move to here and just like defend over here, right? You can defend over here for a little while, try and get a couple of kills where they try and set up on point. Maybe you'll get a kill or two, and then as the point starts to get more and more contested, you can worry about, okay, we need to push. But because they're playing Rein Zarya, you can very easily overwhelm them with pure damage just coming out of the McCree and the Orisa. Not the McCree, the Hog and the Orisa. The McCree will help a little bit, the Genji won't really help at all. I like the quick reaction. Like, you needed to use that on him. He needs to just play super careful. Great moves on killing the turrets. This is definitely something we should be doing as Baptiste. It's a very helpful thing to do for your team. Play with your tanks. Good. Up a little bit with the DPS here and there. I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. Like, the flow there was pretty much spot on, I think. The only thing I think we miss is this McCree, who's low on hit points. We didn't really keep an eye on him, but he ran off towards where health is, so you kind of expect him to get it. And like the only minor adjustment is like maybe one heal needs to go on this McCree. Like, we just spot him when he goes off to the side here, and he's on critical, and like that critical to me is always like, okay, just throw a heal at him. But otherwise, like, yeah, we're doing all the things that we need to be doing as Baptiste, and even like helping here and there with the DPS is definitely something we should be doing as Baptiste. Slight mic peaking, or is it just me? It might be slight. Again, I don't quite have the audio control that I normally do. I'm not going to fix it now. Orisa wants to hold point. It's not a terrible idea. Others disagree. Yeah, this is kind of the issue. You know, there's like a mentality which is like following a bad plan is better than following no plan, and this is kind of a good example of that, where you have like McCree wants to stay on high ground and Orisa wants to stay on the point, and so you end up with half the team on the high ground, half the team on the point, and hey, McCree can't survive without a barrier. This is why you need to have defenses and other people helping the McCree, and he just dies. And it's like, yeah, what do you expect? And yeah, you definitely need to fall back towards the point. I'd say just tunnel healing. I like the safety. I approve of like the lack of hesitation on using the immortality field. It's something that I had to kind of train in myself. But especially again in current meta, you're not holding it because ults build so slowly. Like the Zarya is still on 44% for Christ's sake. It's not like a huge ult charge swing that she's getting. Pharah's only on like half. Reinhardt's the only one who's actively near his ultimate. It's kind of crazy, right? Because ults charge slower, you can just use the immortality field a lot more aggressively. After like 3 fights, 4 fights, then you might want to start thinking about, okay, does Zarya have the ultimate? Do I need to hold on to it for that? And even then, I don't trust immortality field in saving people from graviton surges and stuff. Like, I don't think it's a big thing. I like the ult charge rates nowadays. Yeah, I absolutely love it. I think it's definitely a good move. Like, it's a better move for the game that not everything is based around, oh, our team has this ult combo and therefore we win the fight. Oh, your team doesn't have this ult combo, so you lose the fight. It should push people more towards individual skill-based play, and I very much approve of that. The issue that Overwatch faces, I don't want to get into that, it's too easy to be sidetracked. A little bit late on this. You can see like the disagreement manifesting though. Oh god, this Orisa is so stubborn. This is where the Orisa I think needs to just like buck up and just go, you know what, everyone's up there, I need to be up there. Especially when you have this ult. If you're feeling spicy and voice chatty, which not everyone does, you can call out like, hey guys, I have amplification matrix, I think it's called. I have the Baptiste wall. I want to use it, right? And this to me is the mentality you should have when you have ults. Is like, I want to use this ult for something. I want to do something with this ultimate, because to get it out quickly is a good idea, because then you can build up the next one. The nice thing about amp matrix as well is because you do more damage, you charge up other ults faster. So more amp matrixes is more good. It's just like a momentum builder. It's a really, really cool ultimate, and especially against Reinhardt's, it really messes with him, because you will just annihilate his barrier in 0.2 seconds. It's incredible. So yeah, definitely hold on the choke, I think, for this one, especially because they fail twice. And honestly, if they try and run to point, you just put the wall down and just shoot through it, and hey, you win. Like, it's a really, 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 really good ultimate that I think people have started to come to appreciate the value of. I like the immortality field here as well, just because your Orisa is failing. There she is, finally. You can pressure out their team quite badly. And the Reinhardt should now be stuck with no barrier. And so he does something stupid like that, and hey, he should die for this. There we go. Well, there's the sim wall. This is where you get miserable. So this is a good example of just disagreements causing problems. This is one of those situations where I think you did just about everything you could have done properly. The only thing I'd say is, like, maybe I appreciate what we're trying to go for with this, but actually it might work. I'm just trying to think of like the angle of this and like, would this be protected? Because I'd probably just throw it back here, to be honest. Like, they're trying to shoot through Roadhog and stuff, and the body block should help enough. But I'm fine with the immortality field here. I think that's the right move because you don't have a tank, so the immortality field will be your tank for half a second. We focus largely on healing, but we get some damage done, and we just put damage into targets that we can try and see and hit. We try and help where possible. I can't really fault it. Sometimes the camera seems blurry. Yeah, no, that's just the VOD itself. It's not me. Like, the video goes blurry when I'm watching it, and so the stream will then go blurry. This happens quite commonly when you record at lower bit rates, or you're recording from like stream footage. The bit rate is stable. Yeah, bit rate stable.
Stop fighting for what you believe in.
Okay, there's a Yada swap. I don't like this. I love playing Zen. I love playing Zen But there's something very, very important that did not happen in the last fight that we need to be thinking about. We need to be thinking about quite a lot. The camera, your webcam, oh, that's because it's trying to autofocus because I don't have that turned off at the moment because I don't have the drivers installed for the camera. Don't worry too much about it. It's something that I will try and fix at some point. So something very important didn't happen in this last fight. And I'm sure because we have all the info and because it's all up there, you can see what it is. It's kind of like you can see what's about to happen. Right? You can see what's coming. And it's scary. But it's something that we need to be paying attention to. And as a support, like the heroes that you want to be thinking about a lot are heroes like Zarya, are heroes like Genji, heroes like even like Reinhardt at times, although Reinhardt, like you can kind of get around with Baptiste. But yeah, you need something to deal with the Graviton Surge. It's been like 3-4 fights now is kind of average for Zarya because he didn't use it last fight. Very good chance because she's won a fight that she's going to have it for the next one. We need to be thinking about this Zarya. Immortality Field is the only thing that we're going to have for it. If you are going to swap to something like Zen, you have to, like, we then have to make sure everybody knows, spread, because if more than 2 people get caught in this grab, we lose. And honestly, like, your team's in a pretty dire situation. It's a pretty scary moment. Just because of this combo coming up that you guys have no good answers to. And honestly, Genji needs to pull a Hail Mary. There is another way you can try and beat this, which is very bold, which is basically you play aggressively and you just run at them and try and kill the Zarya. But yeah, we'll see. So basically, like, you have to just tunnel the Zarya. Like, if the Zarya is dead, you cannot grab, and so you win by that. You'll actually see pro teams do this if they fall behind on high-level play. Okay, the Pharah fucked up, but there's the grab, and that should be the win for them. Good job from McCree. I like the camera work. I appreciate that we're swapping hero when we're dead. Well, we're dead. But they should just cap this. I'll be very surprised if we take this back. I don't know if it could work. It's risky. I'd rather just have the Baptiste. Like, Immortality Field works best out of all of those. I said it before and I'll say it again. Out the box, like, at 0%, there is no higher value hero than Baptiste. All his cooldowns out the box, just mwah, he's beautiful. Remember UK doing it against King's Row? It might be how I learned this strategy. Because I distinctly remember calls in scrims of, like, we don't have trance, kill Zarya, like, dive Zarya, dive Zarya. We decide on that? Ooh. I'm just going to skip forward anyway. Ooh. Booties, fancy shoes. Yeah, okay, yeah, if you've got a Genji on your team, Ana's never a bad shout. Honestly, Ana's still pretty good here. Like, in double barrier and triple barrier, she's kind of rough because the Symmetra ults and you just don't get to do anything, but there are ways you can make it work. She's just kind of in a rough place. I'm not going to, like, advise anyone to play Ana. That said, if you are a really good Ana, I wouldn't advise you to swap off it. Like, you could probably still make it work. Do you play chess? I do not. Paranoid of Sombra. Not a bad instinct. So, we'll talk about that nade. Okay, you're stuck. Like, the team's stuck and you're stuck. Let's talk about this nade. Let's talk about what happened here. So, okay, first things first, actually, we haven't talked about our team, like our team's win conditions and stuff like that, so let's go over that very quickly. Nanoblade, definitely a big one, especially if they don't have a Zen or a Lucio, like, you can absolutely do a lot with that one. Graviton Surge is another great win condition. Riptire, actually not a bad win condition. Like, you have some options here. You have a lot of good options here. The thing I would try and go for, personally, is basically, like, use the choke point, use the damage that people are taking, build up a really fast nano, and then try and get something nanoed, and try and get that in there. Like, that's... You are basically... When I play Paris on attack, and I'm playing Ana, I generally go in with the mindset that I'm going to have a lot of nano boosts, because I'm going to be doing a lot of healing in the choke, and as a result, yeah. Yeah, so if you're gonna grenade the teleporter, like the Death Flower, as I like to call it, the obscene damage that comes out of that thing. Like, you've got to do it instantaneously, try and save the person, and then go from there. What rank? We don't know. Guess ESR is part of it. We'll see. Otherwise, yeah, like, we just need to be healing and healing and healing. And, like, just build that ult nice and quickly. The Genji needs to get through, though. Genji calls go right, okay. When people move, you've got to all move together. Like, that's the only big thing. Like, move. You can't stand in this choke point and hope. That's a good job by the Moira. Okay, you're through. Great job on keeping that Moira up. I'm loving all this fast healing as well. You might want to nano the Reinhardt in a second. Definitely want to nano that Reinhardt. Yep. Like, it's not the cleanest, but I'll take it. We do a lot of good work here. Like, I'm actually quite impressed. The only thing I'd say is, like, you want to get through to somewhere out of line of sight as quickly as possible. So you want to, like, either go through and go this way, or if you're playing, like, what I would do if the plan is to go right, is I would literally just run. I'd be healing and I'd turn and face them, but I would literally just run through ahead, like, and let the Reinhardt kind of follow me this way. Because the way that I think about it is, like, I want the Reinhardt to move to here, and then, like, pivot, so I can run behind safely and get through, because once I'm through, then I can just turn and focus on healing, and they can't shoot easily into here. Like, if you stand in the corner, they can't shoot easily into here. If you're going left, go into the bakery very quickly and heal people as they go through. You just want to get out of, like, you don't want to be in this space for, like, as long as possible, right? You want to just get out of this area, out of the danger area, to where you can then heal faster. And that's very nice. That's happened during the replay. Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. People have been doing that. That's kind of cute. Otherwise, yeah, I can't fault. Like, I'd say reload there is, like, the only minor thing. Like, you have, like, a second to breathe. You should take it for the reload. I'm fine with that nade. The reason why I highlighted, like, we might have to nano the Rhine soon is listen very carefully. I'm going to turn up the volume. Do you hear that in the distance? That sound is Sigma getting charged. Which means that Reinhardt's on top of Sigma. And if Reinhardt's on top of Sigma, he's potentially on top of other people. It really gets serious when you see for a split second here, hey look, Reinhardt's low. So now we get a bonus because Reinhardt will kill everybody because he's on top of their team, and we'll get a big heal on him. So that's where the priority is, like, yeah, we want to nano this guy. And that's why nano him straight away, and then, like, instantly everyone dies, but it's a fine nano, don't worry about it, he did the right thing. Like, if you're feeling super anal, it's like, oh my god! Yeah, didn't hit Taiso ult, it doesn't matter. Like, let's put it this way, if he ran up there and then died, and you were holding on to nano, you would feel really, really, really stupid. It's very, very easy, and, like, it's a very bad habit to look like 2 seconds ahead and think, oh, was that a good decision? And judge the decision you made on the merits of what happened immediately after. But in, like, this moment here, where we're making the decision, do we ult or not? All the information we have is, like, Reinhardt's dying, but he just landed a big meaty Earth Shatter. This is Paris. We don't want to risk losing it. We have Nano Boost. Yeah, use it. Like, unless there was, like, a very coordinated discussion beforehand of, in this fight we use Earth Shatter and Riptire, and even in that case I think I would still nano the Reinhardt, because we don't know how many people he shattered, we don't know what he's facing up there, we get a big heal on the Reinhardt, and yeah, it's just fine. So don't worry about, like, oh well, I probably didn't need to do that, because in a parallel universe where their team gets healed or the Reinhardt doesn't hit the 5-man shatter, you just hear the shatter go and you don't nano him, then he needs it. And I would rather overcommit, especially taking first point Paris, like overcommit something small like a nano boost, which you build so quickly these days. Like, even with the reduced ult charge, nano boost builds fast. Yeah, use it aggressively. If you can secure a point with it, secure a point with it. Don't throw it away, but don't be afraid to use it here and there. Okay, he's annoying, gonna have to keep healing him. Good job. I'd have probably gone for a sleep there myself, but I'm greedy. Like, if she's not behind a barrier, and you just see her like this. The thing with Maze, like, unless they're really good, they tend to tunnel vision really badly. So when, like, they start freezing people, she'll just generally stand still. Like, watch closely. Let's turn this down to slow-mo. How much does she move? She realizes she's taken half damage and then eventually moves. Yeah, I'd probably just try and ping a sleep dart at her back. Like, I'd say the ideal place to aim it would just be like right here. And try and just nail it there. It's just because the value of a slept Mei is huge. But that's just, I'm pretty aggressive with my sleep darts, that's just me. Yeah, I don't know why they're holding this aggressively. Honestly, you are A-okay with this. Just heal, 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 heal. Like, build up that big fat ulti. That's all you're looking to do. We used one last fight with 50% towards the next one. And that was a scrappy fight. Like, you can't complain. You can't complain about that turnaround.
Right position.
Like, you got 4 minutes. You still got a minute ahead of them. And you've got Dragon Blade coming up. Won't be ready for Nano Blade. Unless the team helps you build it, which is a possibility, but I wouldn't count on it.
You're going to be nano boost is charging. You're going to be
This is kind of just like the unfortunate thing of like...
nano boost is charging.
A lot just went wrong. And it's just like two people misinterpreting each other in like such a small way that results in such a stupid thing happening. Yeah, like I would put more blame on the Zarya on this. Like, she probably saw, oh, I'm getting healed, so I'm gonna be fine. But you were like, oh, she's just gonna take like a little bit of poke, and she's not really gonna go forward. She's just gonna take some damage and then back off, and she's gonna play it safe. Instead, she just goes nuts. Kind of for no reason. I think she's trying to get like the last 1%, which she doesn't need to do. If you're on like 98, 99%, the natural charge will always finish it off, guys. Don't worry about that too much. That's a moment. Genji calls to take damage from my nano, yeah. Like, it's honestly not a bad call. You gotta wait for Zarya anyway, you should have it. Like, Reinhardt should be dropping his barrier a little bit more as well. Good try. Only thing I would change here. We missed. Yeah, happens. Try not to miss. That's the only thing I can say. Is the moment we land, nade. Because if you don't get any healing and you somehow survive, like, the Sigma kind of fucked up by you surviving, to be honest. You should not survive this. Because you take 50 on the lift, you'll take 100 on the slam, and he just needs to hit you once and you'll die. This is usually what Sigmas are looking to do when they do this ultimate. And so, yeah, instantly nade the floor. I know there's a barrier in the way between you and Reinhardt, but you just got to get that nade out. Like, maybe try and, like, if you see this and you notice this and react fast enough, you can take a step forward and get the Reinhardt as well. But the highest priority is nade, like, straight away. And yeah, your team's going to lose, so they should just build ults. Get out. Nano's ready. You've got a lot of big ultis, but so do they. This is going to be an interesting fight. I'm actually kind of curious to see how it goes. The weird thing for them is that they're playing so far forward. I definitely advise you not to go up the middle. Go left or right. It's just always safer. Middle is just a big long corridor with a huge sight line. Left and right has cover. Left and right is better. Walls are pretty good in Overwatch. Okay. Q won't trigger. You honestly shouldn't need it with the half. That was really weird. It was a little late. You honestly, like, if your team gets even half these ults in, it shouldn't matter too much, but yeah, that's kind of weird. Because you can see that it's targeted. So that's very strange. What's even weirder is can you do that? Should that work? It looks like it went off just before. Can you nano through barriers? I don't think you can. It looks like you got it like literally as the barrier came up, maybe. Like the fact that you got it off is kind of what matters. Even if it's a little bit late, Genji should be able to kill everyone in a Graviton Surge. Like, this is part of why I kind of almost resent modern Genjis, because they're kind of spoiled. It's a good last Moira. Modern Genjis somehow seem to think that Dragon Blade is a terrible ulti unless you have a nano boost, and it's kind of not. It's a massive, huge amount of cleave damage that still two-shots people. So, yeah. Yep, just play safe. It's one of the hardest things to deal with, so I'm really glad we're doing this as well. It's very tempting to do something stupid like run onto the point just to try, oh, I've got to help Cap, ah! But no, just keep your distance, heal from distance, because they want to deal with everyone on the point, but they also need to deal with you, because you healing people will just kill people. Great shot on the Moira, by the way. And yeah, this looks good. I tried to nade the graph. I think she did. Whoop, 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 whoop. She's looking, yeah, she's looking to get the nano first, which is her first priority, and then she throws the nade. And I think the nano comes first. Because it's literally like a split second. You just look up, press Q, look down, press E, and it's done. Yeah, Genji's man.
Initiating match.
Although I'm suspecting this is fairly decent SR. Should be pretty good. Okay. Our team lineup has changed considerably. Now wants Pharmacy. I mean, it's not a bad shout. Pharmacy's pretty good on this map. Unless they're playing Sigma Orisa, in which case, yeah, you'll just shoot barriers all day. Unless you're really good at the Pharmacy. I still think Pharmacy's fine on ladder. Like, unless you're in like GM, don't pay. You should pay some attention to the meta and like have some idea of how it works and how it operates. But some things still work fairly well. Pharmacy can work fairly well, especially if they do play something like Reaper Symmetra. Then yeah, you just kill them. The Pharmacy should just be able to get away with absolute murder. That Brig has balls. I love it. I love it so much. Oh, she teleports through, takes a swing, and then teleports back. I think that won't work. That won't do anything. It won't actually heal anyone. Like the way that Inspire works, isn't it? When you hit someone, it's like it puts like a heal over time. It puts a hot on people. It's like casting Renew on all of these people. Like let's say that these were friendly and you hit someone from here, it would just cast a heal on these people. She's gonna go back through and just not heal anyone. It's not like a Lucio Pulse. Seems like decent. So I mean, that was like attack. It takes balls to do that, and she teleported back immediately, so she knows what she's doing. Beauty of a nade, by the way, I love it. I will generally favour aggressive nades over defensive ones, because anti-heal is better than increased healing. It's also just good ult charge. That's it, play the line of sight. The only thing I would say... Very nice. The only thing I would say here is that I would like us to just use the line of sight a little bit better. But that's kind of it. Like, that nade is a bit greedy, I think. Like, I personally wouldn't have perhaps gone for that one, but I can see why you've gone for it. Like, there's a logic to it that I can appreciate, which is, hey, look, the barrier's over here, So all these people are vulnerable, so I can maybe nade them all and get a ton of ult charge and make things easy for my pharmacy. I'm going to do that. So there's a logic to it that I can appreciate. I would have probably just kept a hold of this one, just because this is a bit of a difficult throw and this is a bit riskier, or just thrown it from up here. But either way, it works. The only thing I'd say is, like, yeah, we just didn't use the terrain here well enough. There's like a pillar there. There's like a small wall here that you can use it. I don't like us coming out back here. And then, like, even here, I'd like us just to be a little bit closer to that wall. Like, we're kind of just a major problem if we're just, like, 2 steps to the left. Because if they can hit us with anything, and I know that everyone who can hit us is dead, but this is still, like, a useful lesson. If they can hit us with anything, we can just take a step to the left and just hide, and then everyone over here kills them. And then when they stop shooting at us, we just step back out and we can heal. And it doesn't really alter our ability to heal people on the point if we are 2 steps to the left. Hug corners. Trust me, it's a powerful, good idea. And hey, we almost have a nano for the next push. We should have it for the next push, to be honest with you.
60 seconds remaining. Take your medicine. My ultimate is charging.
I know Eldritch uses SR from Ryan's video games. Well, don't spoil it then.
Objective A captured. New defense point. Objective B.
We're all plat chat here. Oh, if only that were the case. Hanzo. I don't mind Hanzo at all. I would look to nano the Doomfist, probably.
60 seconds.
Yep, go with the Reinhardt. He's the one calling group up. Oh, look, Doomfist has died. Who could have seen this coming? You're 1 for 1, but that isn't necessarily a good situation. Get a heal on this Mercy, please. This is going to be real rough. Great sleep dart. Holy shit. Okay. There's only one thing I want to comment on before we get into this fight, which is this moment. Just give her a little pat on the bum, you know. Just give her a little whap of the old heal juice. The nade is fine. The nano is risky, but I can see why you would go for it. Sleep dart's beautiful. Like, I'm fine with that nano. I think you made the right call. That's a call. And you should win. Great charge by the Reinhardt. Let's talk about this nano and, like, the pros, the cons, and why I'm ultimately fine with it. I'm ultimately fine with it because, worst case, they still spend a shitload of ults. Like, you nano this Reinhardt, he gets to swing in, he gets to build up a ton of ult charge. They spend ults as well to try and stop you, so they deployed the Sim barrier, which is a great win for you guys because, hey, that's a big ultimate to get rid of. And potentially they'll have to spend even more ults to try and deal with this. Disabling that Symmetra is huge. I don't know how the Reinhardt didn't wake her up. Great nade on follow-up on the Sim. Like, you've got to kill that Symmetra. And then, yeah, momentum swings to your team's favor. Doomfist comes back because he's got insane mobility. They swap out of Desperation. And you guys actually win. And this is also where, like, that general logic of, hey, we need to hit ourselves with that nade. This is where that general logic of, hey, I generally am happy with, like, if you're on the fence on, do I spend nano, do I not spend nano? Generally, I will lean on the side of spend the nano, right? If you're ever, like, weighing up a decision in a fight of, do I want to do this, do I not want to do this? It's like, I try and have this in my head for every ulti. Like, a very, very important idea. And it's like, for Zen, if I'm in that position where it's like, do I ult, do I not ult? I'll usually lean on the side of don't, right? But with Ana, I'll actually usually lean on the side of use it. Moira, use it without thinking. Baptiste, use it without thinking. Lucio, again, it's like, do I want to use this? Do I not want to use this? Mercy, use it without thinking. And I generally have like this in my head for pretty much every hero in the game of, can I afford to like use this ultimate in a fight that might already be won or might be a little bit dicey? and this might not be the most value play. Here's the tip when fighting Moira. Run at the bitch. Yeah, you got to run at her and just nade the floor. You've got to make sure you get yourself with that nade. Like, that's the only way you survive and actually do this. I mean, yeah, the McCree kills you ultimately anyway, but... Playing a lot of FFA has taught me that lesson very well. Very well indeed. We're in a good position, ultimately. Hello, Sim. Good to see you. Is it you destroyed the game, Symmetra? It's not Symmetra's fault. I don't blame it. I really don't blame Symmetra for, like, the current state of the game. It's really not her fault. It's not her fault. Like, here's the thing. Sim's, like, entire design was, oh, she should be the hero that's really good against barriers. And, hey, we now have 2 sets of barriers in the game. Lo and behold, she's really good against barriers. Problem's the barriers. It's not Symmetra. If anything, I would say that it's been a failure on behalf of her design that she hasn't been strong in the past. I worry about the soldier pick on my own head. I'm not super paranoid about it. It depends on the rank. If we're in like Masters, I might worry about the soldier pick, but because this isn't in Masters, I'm less concerned. Well, it might be in Masters, but it's not. If it's not Masters or GM, I'm not super concerned about the soldier pick. He's a good nano target, ultimately, and you kind of lack for those. Can't spray trash can? Just goes to show. Trash can't spray. How do you change your reset? You've just got to do, like, I think the game just needs a massive balance overhaul. Do we want to do this discussion? We'll do this discussion afterwards, because it's a big discussion, and it's honestly a video of its own. And I'll probably deal with Sty at some point. It might be a bit too negative for the Unit Loss channel, I don't know. It's something that we both kind of agree on, though. So... I actually kind of like the Reinhardt pick here. Because this guy, this Thorobilby? I don't know how to say that guy's name. This guy over here, he's been real adamant on this Symmetra pick. He's been loving that sim. So yeah, the Reinhardt for flexibility is fine. I'm A-okay with that. Yep, just play safe positioning, play careful. Either we're checking occasionally with our eyes to see what's happening. Nade for safety, let's get that scope in because we're safe. Good shit. Okay, we're no longer safe, we're going to die. That's Symmetra. You've just been outplayed. I mean, I can see why this guy's stuck with the sim. He's pretty good at it. He's pretty good at it. Yeah. Man of the turret's not a bad shout, actually. But yeah, like generally by the time you hear this, like by the time you've seen this, it's just like, well, I'm dead. Like, look how fast you explode. The only way you survive this is if nade is off cooldown, in my opinion, because you just nade the floor. Like, the moment you see or hear that noise of the turrets, like, acquiring their target, you've got to nade and pray. Moira. It's also where the Baptiste is useful, because you just throw down the immortality field and hope, basically. Well, we know what they're running at least. Like, so if we think about like, okay, well, what do I want to do in this team? I would 100% Nano Soldier. Like, even if he doesn't have ult, I'd still probably Nano Soldier, because Nano Soldier... I might be tempted to Nano the Junkrat if he doesn't have ult, or the Reinhardt, but in general, it's probably going on Soldier. Because he can just do a lot with a Nano Boost. Like, he can run around a lot, he can do a huge amount. Why is Pharmacy being held for review? Show. I don't know why that's been held for review. Like, that's really weird. YouTube's weird. It's a weird platform, guys. Yeah, in general, I'd be looking at the Soldier for the nano boosts. But in terms of like dealing with their team, like they have Sigma Roadhog as tanks, so I'd be looking to get sleep darts on stuff. and just get shots through. Because Sigma's barrier is just like the size of a postage stamp, it's just not enough. Lul is apparently hell for review. It might be because it means penis in Dutch. If I'm going to stream again on YouTube, I will find a way to turn that off. This is the problem with Ana. Luckily the team kind of makes a good decision. All comes on one side. Great sleep dart, good reactions to that. Oh no! Oh no! Oh fuck! No way! I love the fact that the Junkrat. So I have a phrasing that I use when I play the game, which is called "they get horny for things." The Junkrat got real horny for that kill. He got so horny for that kill. He was just like, "Oh, she's uncle. Oh, I can get this kill. Oh, it's so easy. I'm gonna go on top of her and just do combo. Oh, it's gonna be so good." Yeah, there's turrets there, champ. you gotta watch for those. He just gets lasered to death. And then the Reinhardt gets lasered to death, and then oh no. GG. That's over. Oh god. Maybe, no. Oh man. It's cast time. It has a cast to it. You can actually, I think if you kill the Ana at just the right time, you can actually stop the cast as well. It's pretty frustrating when it doesn't go off. Whole team finds solace in our common hatred for Symmetra, I'm guessing? Oh no, 2CP, okay. Yeah, Paris is a garbage fire. It really hurt, like, I think it was when he was talking to Seagull? And Seagull was like, he was taking questions from the chat, and I think he asked Jeff, like, oh, what about, are you guys going to do anything to change Paris? And Jeff was like, and I don't know whether this is just like a developer being like, oh, let me, like, get as much information as possible out of you. Oh, what's the problem with Paris? Oh, is there something wrong with Paris? What do you think is wrong with Paris? That concerned me. It's just like, do you not know? Are you guys not aware that like Paris is a map that people literally quit the game from and will literally take losses intentionally just to not play it? I worry about flying off the map for some reason. Yeah. It's a valid concern. Like, yeah, you should be playing inside the buildings. Like, keep an eye on where the enemy approaches from and then just play in cover. Get that field down. There we go. Fear comes through. Yep. I remember doing something similar to this. I think I was playing Ana and I was like, oh, I'll just play from the point and be safe. And a wrecking ball just came through and just instantly just like literally just knocked me straight off. You learn this lesson very well and you learn it precisely. Hopefully, if you're clever, you learn it once and only once. Yeah, we don't play from here. You basically what you want to do is, especially because, hey, we have Sonic Arrow, we can see that they're coming in on the left side. So we want to go into the hotel and play from there. You just watch which way they're going and just rotate, keep distance. I mean, it was nicely done by that Doomfist. Congrats, Elfisto, you've done it. Moira should get a coalescence pretty quickly at this rate. Should have switched to Lucio here. Yeah. I'd say yeah. It's not especially okay. If it was just you, Dad, I would like be kind of on the fence about it. Like if you can get back there with Baptiste, it's kind of okay. The fact that you're running back with a Reaper tells me that, yeah, you should be swapping. Like, the moment that Reaper died, it should be like, huh, okay. I need to go Lucio to try and get me and Reaper back as fast as possible. But I appreciate the fact that you've probably already left spawn by this point. Nope, you're still in spawn. Prediction for NYXL versus Shock, NYXL. It made me laugh when because I imagine Slash has been waiting this entire thing, and like I've been waiting for it as well. I've been waiting for the moment that NYXL choked. I've been waiting for that moment where NYXL has choked. They have not choked. They have not choked in the slightest. They've been playing incredibly. Okay, guys. Ultimately, I'd say like a pretty solid entry. The biggest things to work on, just like very minor positioning things, like playing these corners a little bit better. We have like this bad habit to like, even here we're kind of doing it, but we're also running into nade the thingamoo and trying to make sure we have clear line of sight on Genji. So this is perhaps not the best example, but it's just like making sure that we're playing corners as much as possible. Like hanging around corners is kind of where you want to be constantly on this Ana. Beyond that, like I'd probably be a touch more conservative with my nades in like 1 or 2 places, but otherwise we're ultimately looking pretty good. You know, we're ultimately looking okay. I would not be too super worried about our Ana. It's also minor things like going through the choke point here. Maybe it's just because I'm very spatially aware, or like I have that very paranoid instinct, but yeah, I'd just be looking to get out of this space. Like, it's making sure that you're just out of line of fire as quickly and as adamantly as possible while still being able to see your team. And like, that's the only real major place I would look to make heavy improvements here. Otherwise, like, you seem uncertain about some of the choices we made in those nano boosts. They are fine. Use it, especially on Paris. 100% use it. The other thing I'd comment on is like support track, alt tracking for supports. Like this is a big miss from us, and it's kind of like I imagine we felt very silly the moment that Graviton Surge went off. Hopefully, we felt very silly when that Graviton Surge came off, because we should know, yeah, we need something for this. Like you should press tab when you're in the spawn and go, okay, she's on 29%. We haven't seen a grab in a while. The grab's coming. We need something against that. Immortality field is kind of what we got. And that's kind of what you're hoping for. Because Zen ain't going to do it. Zen ain't going to cut it. Tomato SR. Otherwise, yeah, like, let's get SRs, people. So we've got a couple of them already. 3.1. 2.9. Tomato. Let's draw a tomato and just like that. And do I have green? I should have a green. It's a bit of a pink tomato, but there we go. Bop, 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 bop. Let's just do another leaf there, so it's not just a cross. So there's the tomato. I actually have a red as well. It's like, color this in. Tomato, 2.7. We'll stick with the tomato. I'm gonna say, I kind of agree with this 3.1. Honestly, like I'm also gonna say, oh, no, that's a 2. I'm also gonna say 3.1. Since when do you stream on YouTube? Yeah, it's at the start of the VOD. You can go watch that. Big problems with logging into Twitch at the moment that are hopefully going to get fixed. Hopefully. Otherwise, fuck. Right, I need to look this up. Yeah, I'd say about 3.1. 3,120. Boom. Yeah. It looks about that, and the reason why I say that as well is because it looks not hugely dissimilar from my own play, and I bounce between like 3.6 and 3.2, I would say. Yeah. Like, it's just minor positioning things, it's just like minor alt-tracky things. The team was making plans, the team seemed to kind of know what they were doing. The team hated this map, the Symmetra player looked pretty good as well. Like, no one was overtly making terrible decisions. There were a couple of moments where the team just had some infighting, which is kind of a shame. Like, the Orisa wanted to defend from point, the rest of the team didn't. I would say, like, against Symmetras, you don't always need to defend from point, but it's not a bad idea. It's just, it's so that they don't get that teleport advantage, but if you know it's coming, you can kind of plan around it. Yeah. Very nice, though. Very, very nice gameplay overall. Like, I'm trying to think of like good ways for us to improve here, and it's, you know, aside from just the corner thing, the line of sight thing, and it's not like there's a lot of easily identifiable mistakes that sort of jump out at me, and it definitely doesn't feel like, you know, the reason why we lost is because we messed up. Aside from that one swap, like that one swap is what sticks in my head. So yeah, keep an eye on them Zarya's. And like if you want a list of heroes, just to like round this out as well, just to try and be really useful. The heroes we need to pay attention to. Zarya is like, you know, the one that we really need to pay attention to. So plus plus plus. Genji, worth paying attention to. Like Immortality Field just doesn't quite cut it, but you can still kind of make it work. Soldier ult is another big one, especially if your team isn't running double barrier. If your team's running double barrier, you can kind of work around Soldier, but kind of not. I half want to say Sigma, I half don't want to say Sigma. You kind of need to pay attention to his ult, so I am gonna list him. Immortality Field can at least deal with that pretty well. I'm trying to think of other heroes that are worth like really drilling down on, really paying attention to in terms of win conditions. The enemy Ana, like nano boosts. If the enemy has an Ana, you need to pay attention to when they've used their nano, because you need to have a response to it. I'm tempted to say Symmetra, but like Transcendence is not that great against Symmetra. Like, it's good, but it's just a huge amount of healing that will only work if everyone moves to the same side of the barrier. But yeah, you definitely did not want to swap to the Zen here, because basically the amount of healing you have on Baptiste is pretty high, and then the amount of healing you have on Zen is pretty low, and so your team's just lost a huge amount of healing while they're in a power swing, and that's rough. Yeah. That's going to be it from me today on this. I'm going to see if I can split the VODs, because let's talk chat about Overwatch and the state that it's in. Right, let's do that. Best way for me to do that is to like turn that off, bring this up, log into this, and go here. Try and see if I have any coffee left. I do not. This is the problem. I got a good snort of coffee there. Let's talk about Overwatch and the problem that it's facing, and the problem that it will continue to face. So Overwatch is going to run into a big issue, which is that the devs, it feels like the devs are purely reactive at this point. That's a pretty big problem. Actually, let me do this so I can draw on the screen while this is up. Yep, got to Alt-Tab, got to go back into this, go like this, like this, like this, go into the options, settings, video, borderless window, please, thank you. And the issue is pretty straightforward. So yeah, they're playing reactively, and they've been playing reactively for a long time, and it's sort of why we've ended up going from meta to meta to meta, where it's like, oh, the old meta's dead. Oh, we hate the new meta, right? It's a big problem with the game. So, what's been happening? What's the issue? If you think about what's been going wrong, it's like Mercy. Like, let's cast our minds back to when Mercy was overpowered. Mercy gets overpowered. They nerf her, they nerf her, they nerf her, they nerf her, and then she sort of gets smashed out of the roster. And then other heroes start coming in, and then they introduce Brigitte to deal with flankers and Dive that were really strong at the time, because a lot of people were complaining about Dive being really strong. So then Brig comes in as a response. Like, they actively designed Brig as a response to stuff like Tracer and Genji, right? So they actively go, oh, well, we need to deal with Tracer and Genji, so we're introducing Brig. And then that completely shifts the meta to Goats, because suddenly you've got this AoE healer that also has a stun and crowd control and all this kind of stuff, and Goats comes out of it. We've done that discussion to death. We don't need to talk about Goats too much. And then they try and nerf Goats and buff heroes that are strong against Goats, and nerf Goats and buff and nerf and buff and nerf. Roll Q. Boom. Roll Q's been asked for absolutely ages. And it's still an improvement to the game. Like, there's a very high-level player base that has problems with 40-minute queues, but they are not the majority of people. For most people, games have been better overall. They've been generally less toxic, they've generally been more playable. The games themselves have been kind of fine. But then another problem arose. And it's not really Sigma's fault. They've introduced Sigma, another barrier hero into the game, and now we have Sig Risa. Right? Because they're both tank heroes, well, you get both of them in a game, you get two sets of barriers that are very replaceable and very mobile and very agile, and suddenly we've got this barrier meta. And what's going to happen, I predict, is that they will nerf Sigma, or they'll nerf Orisa, or they'll nerf Symmetra, because the big outcry at the moment that a lot of people are making is, oh, these heroes need nerfing. The reason why that's only going to lead into further problems, Doomfist will still probably be super strong, Reaper might still be very strong, Symmetra might still be very strong. Honestly, barrier meta probably isn't going to go away unless they do something to really change the game. People have been talking about the idea of classic Overwatch, right? Because classic WoW came around, and people brought up, like, have been saying, oh, well, we should have classic Overwatch and just go back to the original cast of heroes and just play that instead, because that will be more fun. And I think they're kind of wrong. I think people will find stuff in vanilla Overwatch or original Overwatch that is just as exploitable and just as terrible to play compared to what we have now. It's just that people were worse at the game then, understood the game worse then. Now that we understand it better and how to like do economy and stuff like that, it's not going to be ideal. It's not going to be the same. The issue with Overwatch is that it's lost vision. It's lost direction, right? And this is why I have issue with the devs being purely reactive in terms of their balance changes. Like when they're looking at, oh, what should we fix? They talk to, they look at the forums and they go, oh, what's everyone complaining about? Well, we need to nerf those heroes. They look at the feedback. They have community managers collecting feedback, sending it to Irvine, and they look at that feedback and then they fix it because that's what people are complaining about. People are complaining about Sigma, Orisa, Symmetra, Reaper, Doomfist. They'll nerf those heroes. And then the next meta will swing in and it'll be just as terrible as the old one. Because I don't think anyone, and this is like a really, really almost mean thing to admit, I don't think anyone at Irvine has a clear idea of what they want Overwatch to be. What the hell does that mean? What the hell does that statement mean? That statement means that when I think of a game of Overwatch, like I picture in my head, like a team comp like Reinhardt and Zarya, Genji and Soldier, Mercy and Zen, or Lucio and Moira, Lucio and Ana. Like, there's generally this mixture of heroes, right, that comes in towards something like main tank, off tank, hit scan, projectile, main support, off support, right? There's generally like this hodgepodge of heroes. And that's what I generally think of. And then it's like an FPS with like MOBA components to it, where you have these powerful abilities that can sort of influence the game. But in general, people are trying to like shoot at each other and fight each other and do that kind of thing. This vision of what the game of Overwatch should look like and play like has not existed in the game for about a year, maybe longer. It's gone, and it does pop up, and like people, you can see that people try and like default towards this as well. Like people like playing this sort of style of Overwatch, where you generally want to have like a hit scan hero. You'll generally have someone pick something like McCree, and you'll have someone pick a Genji, and you'll have someone pick an Ana and a Zen and a Reinhardt and a Zarya, and then they go, oh shit, this isn't working. Well, we'll pick Sigma Orisa, Symmetra and Reaper, and we'll pick Moira and Baptiste. And the issue with that is then the game gets very like, well, how do you improve when you play Symmetra? Well, you learn how to do good teleports, and you learn how to put the teleport in the right place, and maybe you improve your tracking a little bit, but it's kind of a zero-sum game, where the gameplay now is like, we teleport in, and then Reaper holds left mouse button on a big target, and that dies, and then Symmetra holds left mouse button on a big target, and that dies, and it kind of doesn't develop and grow and go anywhere, and build to anything, and you don't feel like you're getting really better at anything or improving at anything. You play Moira, you just hold left mouse button and put out tons and tons and tons of healing. You put out a healing orb, tons and tons and tons and tons of healing. Play Baptiste, right click, right click, right click, right click. Immortality field, right click, right click, right click. There's no growth. There's no growth there happening. There's no development. You play Orisa, you dump a barrier, you hold left mouse button. You dump a barrier, press left mouse button. Sigma's a bit different. Sigma has stuff going on. Oh, you got to aim the rock. You got to put your barrier in a good place. You got to aim these fancy projectiles. Sigma's kind of an interesting, exciting hero. But they've released a lot of heroes lately that just do things that are very powerful very easily. Like, to get the kind of healing output that Moira can put out as Ana is incredibly difficult. It's impossible to do. But Moira can just do it very, very easily and then do damage very, very easily. And so when you start pushing people towards, oh, well, let's increase the amount of healing in the game and make it easy to do, yeah, you're going to end up in this place. And it's a horrible thing to say because people love Jeff, and I love Jeff, and I think Jeff is great, but it feels like the direction of the game is lacking. Like, he's a great figurehead for the game, but I worry about direction. I worry about, like, people thinking about, in Irvine, people in Blizzard going, this doesn't look like the game we envisioned. How can we make it look like the game we envisioned? Instead of just reactively going, let's nerf this, let's change this, let's nerf this, let's nerf this. Because that's when you get into positions where instead of like trying to get us back to something that looks like a fun game, we're instead just moving from unfun thing to unfun thing to unfun thing. Doom is fine, easy to punish. I disagree very heartily. I don't think he's easy to punish in the slightest. I think it's far too easy for Doomfist to get value. Even bad ones. And I think Doomfist is another one of those exceptions where he's a hero that grows more skilled, but he's also just an unfun hero to play against. And I've talked about this before. I think I talked about this on some videos with Sty, where it's like, when Overwatch first came out, the biggest barrier was 2,000 hit points, and that's it. The strongest healer was a 50 heal per second on a single target. And that was Mercy. That's the strongest healing in the game. 50 heal per second on a single target. Like, I see Mercy these days and I freaking panic. Like, I go, oh my god, this is not enough healing. Because you got Moira, who's like 80 heal per second on a single target. You got Ana, who's like 70 heal per second on a single target, disregarding their cooldowns. It's like the inflation that's happened on the amount of healing that's being done, on the amount of barriers that are in the game. Because you got Orisa with a replenishable, strong barrier. You got Sigma with another 1,500 hit point barrier floating around. And everything's kind of escalated and escalated and escalated. And yeah, it's no wonder that like hitscan's been completely lost. Like, why would you ever play hitscan when all you can do is shoot barriers or shoot people who are getting healed? Like, McCree deals 70 damage per shot. Ana can heal that in one dart. Like, why Moira can heal that in a second? Why would you ever play those heroes when you can play Doomfist who one-shots people? Why would you ever play McCree when you can play Hanzo who can one-shot people and just spam out arrows and move anywhere he needs to go? And it's just like, they need to have some idea of like, this is what we want Overwatch to be. How do we get to that? And I imagine what's happened is they feel burned because their original vision of Overwatch was, oh, well, we need people changing heroes and swapping heroes. And, like, you should see, oh, well, they're running this, we should run this, and we should swap. And what they found was people like playing individual heroes. I heard from, like, sources who've heard from sources that, like, the biggest reason why people quit Overwatch, and, like, this tracks 100% in my head with what I've seen, the biggest reason why people quit Overwatch is generally, my hero was nerfed, so I quit. Like, oh, the hero I like playing got nerfed and wasn't used in the meta anymore, so I quit playing. And so I get that they're like terrified of, oh, well, how do we get back to, like, how do we do this without nerfing people? How do we do this without changing people? And it's like, you can't. But what you can't do as well is just keep going from, well, we'll just nerf things and hope that we end up somewhere good. Or we'll just buff things that counter the thing that's horrible and we hope that we end up somewhere that's good. Because I don't think you'll end up somewhere that's good. I think you'll just go from disaster to disaster to disaster. And that's kind of where I'm kind of at with Overwatch at the moment. Is like, yeah, role queue was an improvement, but they need to have a vision. They need to have a direction. And this is why, like, when Sty and I did that video discussing like Overwatch 2, like, I brought up the idea of, it's also a good opportunity for them to go in and just retinker everything. Like, get a fresh start in the game, rebuild it, and see what's going. Can you tell us what your preferred vision of the game would be? Something like this. Like, something where this feels viable. Something where I can play McCree and shoot at people, or play Soldier and shoot at people, and not feel like I'm just shooting barriers and getting healed instantly. They need to, I think, bring down the amount of healing, bring down the amount of tankiness, and go from there. They need to also make sure, like, this is my elitist side coming out a little bit as well, which is, this is what I think would be healthiest for the game as a business overall is trying to make as many things viable as possible. What I think would be healthiest for the game for me in the long term would be try and make heroes that require a lot more skill more viable in the long term. So things like, I would worry if Mercy, Symmetra, Winston, like I've generally even said, and I've kind of gone back on this on Winston a little bit because he is kind of now a high skill hero. Like, actually getting into work is a thing that takes a lot of skill. But I'm very worried when heroes like Brig are very strong in the meta, Reaper is very strong in the meta, Sim is very strong in the meta, Torb is very strong in the meta, Mei is very strong in the meta, Mei's a little bit iffy in there. Like these heroes that you can kind of just play. Moira, Mercy, where is she? There she is, she's right next to Moira. Mercy's very strong in the meta. I don't like it when heroes that are kind of, you can get value out of them, but to get even more value out of them, it's like the margin between a GM Mercy and a Gold Mercy is not as distinct as the margin between a GM Widow and a Gold Widow. Like, the difference in impact they have is not as hugely there. What I would love is if all heroes had that, where the skill ceiling was super high, and you could get better and better and better on all those heroes. Mercy mains, like, I know they're very sensitive, but I know they've also been kind of crying out for this in their own way, which is make Mercy more interesting. Make it so that you can actually make plays on Mercy. They've been asking for this for a long time, and that's kind of what I want as well, right? But when heroes like Brig are very strong, when heroes like Moira are very strong, and they're kind of just brain dead, yeah, it makes me not want to play the game. Like, I want to play a game where I feel like I'm getting better, I feel like I'm improving. This is why I gravitate naturally towards heroes like Ashe, Ana, Tracer, Widow, right? I want to play these heroes. McCree, Soldier to some degree. In terms of tanks, I'd rather play like Reinhardt, Roadhog, because Reinhardt has like a lot of really cool decision making. Reinhardt has tons and tons of really interesting, fascinating, and exciting choices to be made from a tactical standpoint. Orisa, you jump barrier, you hold left mouse button, and you do some halts, and like the amount of decisions you're making moment to moment aren't that exciting. You can also buff everything if everything is overpowered and nothing is overpowered. Yeah, but then you end up in the meta we're in now, which is, why would you play Widowmaker? Why would you spend hours and hours and hours and hours practicing Widowmaker when you can just play Symmetra and hold left mouse button and do 200 DPS? Why would you ever bother with Widowmaker? Why would you bother getting good with this hero when you can just play this hero, get better results for way easier? It's something that people say about Dota 2, which is like, oh, well, in Dota 2, all the heroes are overpowered in their own way, and therefore it's balanced. It's not quite the case. Like, in Dota 2, it's a completely different beast, and that kind of balance works for that game because all the heroes have their ways to shine, but there's also like a lot of things in Dota that, like micro decisions and micro choices that will affect how strong you are and how much power you have. But if they just change it to make Drought Ranger just do tons and tons of damage off the bat with no requirement for items or anything, yeah, everyone will just play Drought Ranger, right? And that's kind of the situation we're in. So Dota 2, like, there's no laning phase in Overwatch where teams can get microscopic advantages that build up over time, that let you get a power spike and an item very early, that let you push that advantage into the late game, that plays out over a 40-minute period, that lets you do some stuff, but also somehow lets you come back into the game. Dota 2 is an immaculate game. It's incredible, but the same balance principles don't quite work with Overwatch because there's no punishment for making bad decisions early in the game aside from losing time, which is a punishment, but it's not like a huge punishment. You don't enter the 20th minute in Overwatch where you're playing Ashe and you do less damage than the enemy team's Ashe. That doesn't happen, right? The game is less fun if the character you love is shit because of imbalance, right? And where they go wrong, I think, is like they're paranoid about nerfing heroes and then people quitting the game because they've nerfed a hero that people like. But I'm sat here and I'm like, I was one of the first YouTubers making content about Overwatch, and I'm like, man, I really don't want to play a game where I get pushed into playing Symmetra or Reaper every single game, because I don't feel like I'm going to get better at the game. I might as well go play Counter-Strike, where I can play a game that's going to reward me for getting better at the game. This game, I get rewarded slightly, but it's definitely not to that same satisfaction of, man, I'm getting really good at shooting. Man, oh, I'm so good with the AWP now. Oh, I'm totally going to rank up. I don't get that satisfaction, and that's what I'm looking for out of my FPS. And I think because Overwatch is entering into such a late stage in its life now, like this game is almost 3 years old, you can start catering more and more and more towards this long-term, more hardcore audience, because the casuals, they've gone to play Fortnite. You ain't getting them back. Daddy Activision probably wants them to come back. They ain't coming back. They're gone. You aren't going to get them back unless you make something brand shining new, which I imagine what Overwatch 2 is going to be, and try and cycle back people back into the game. Don't think it's going to work. Don't think it's going to happen. They're gone. Let them go. But cater to the fan base that exists. And yeah. Let's see if we can know health overall. Snipers could easily have 150 to warrant their insane strength. I would be fine. Yeah, I'd be okay with Widow and Hanzo having 150 HP. I actually think that would solve a lot of problems if Hanzo had 150 hit points. He'd probably never get played again if the balance stayed the same, because he just died too much too quickly to everything. But if they overhauled the game and made the snipers have lower hit points, I'd be fine. But yeah, it's one of those frustrating things where it's like someone at Blizzard, someone in Irvine needs to stand up and go, we need to fix this game, and we need to just like make it look like what people expect this game to be like, because I think they're just chasing their own tail. And that's ultimately, to me, that is the problem in the game. They're chasing their own tail, going, we'll just keep nerfing things or buffing things that counter the problem du jour, and then hope that eventually that ends up somewhere good. And that's... I don't think that's going to work. I don't think that's going to work. I really don't. I really don't. Otherwise, yeah, that's going to be it from me. So, a lot of stuff in this video. I'll see if I can cut it up and like leave it on YouTube. But basically, if you aren't aware, yeah. First things first, I can't log into Twitch at the moment. I'm trying to solve that problem. When I can, I will be streaming on Twitch, twitch.tv/oneamongstmany.tv. If you're only joining here from YouTube, hello, it's good to see you. I'll see if I can find ways to do YouTube streams, honestly. It's kind of a cool system, kind of a cool format. If I can't log into Twitch, I'll probably still stream on YouTube tomorrow. I'm probably going to hit level 60 tomorrow, so I might actually stream hitting level 60 as well. And we'll see about that. But yeah, I'm trying to get it solved. I've had one of the shittest weeks I've ever had. Probably not the shittest week I've ever had. I've had some really shit weeks in my life, but this one is up there. It's in the top 5 shit weeks. So hopefully everything's going fine where you are. I'll see you very soon. Thank you for your patience. I apologize again for the lack of streams. It's out of my hands, but I'm trying to fix it as fast as possible. We'll see. Thanks for watching. I don't have an outro screen, so I'm just going to hit the end stream button and hope that that works. Thank you for watching. Toodaloo. End stream.